So what is the best 2022 Formula 1 racetrack? Well, today I'm going to find out. I'm going to be ranking them and rating them out of 10. At the bottom, we have Don't Race There Again. These are for tracks who score 1 or 2 out of 10. Next is I Don't Like the Races, and this means they'll score 3 or 4 out of 10. If they score 5 or 6 out of 10, I'm calling it bang average. And if they score 7 or 8, that's a pretty good race. And the creme de la creme, or 9 or 10 out of 10, is the best race of the season. So first I'm going to talk about the tracks in chronological order, and I'm going to rank them based on their score out of 10 at the end of the video, so stick around for that. So let's kick off this list with Bahrain. Now this is a pretty enjoyable and, for me, underrated track. It's been a pretty good season opener the past year, and hopefully with the new regulations, the racing at this track and many other will be so much better. I also love how the liveries look under the lights. We get to see all the new liveries and all the new cars under the great spotlights of Bahrain. So what would I rate it? I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Like I said, it's pretty underrated in my opinion. Next on the list is Saudi Arabia. Now this is probably one of the best and most chaotic races of the season, but hopefully this year they can sort out the safety. I mean, yes, we had loads of crashes like Nikita Mazepin and George Russell, and Sergio Perez and Mick Schumacher, and all sorts of things happening. And of course, Max and Lewis colliding. But literally, that qualifying was incredible, with Max Verstappen almost setting a pole lap and then crashing into the wall. Just great television. So yeah, where would I rate this? To be honest, I'm pretty excited, so I'm going to put it as an 8 out of 10. Following on from Saudi Arabia, we're going back to Melbourne, Australia. Now the recent changes should make this a bit better, but in my opinion, it's just okay, nothing special. I love Australia and I loved it as a season opener. I just hope Daniel Ricciardo can do well at this race. So yeah, to me it's okay, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Now following on from Australia, we have Imola in Italy. Now I'm not the biggest fan of this track. I mean, yes, it has lots of history, but that's about it. Yes, it's quite like bumpy and up and down and everything, but for me, that's it. I mean, 2021 was pretty fun because of the wet. Other than that, it was meh for me. So I'd give it like a 4 out of 10. I'm not really a fan. Now, the new track for 2022 is Miami. Now, it's pretty unproven since it's new, but it's pretty cool how it's by the Hard Rock Stadium. It's all sort of like a sports complex now. But yeah, it's pretty flat, and I'm pretty happy that they have another race in America, since America is pretty much the same size as Europe, and there's only now 2 races in America, considering Europe has about 100. So hopefully in the future we'll get even more US races, because the crowds are amazing. But the prices that I've seen for the Miami Grand Prix are through the roof. You have to like sell everything you own to go to this race. So yeah, what would I give Miami? I'm thinking, since it's so unproven, probably a 5. From the track, it looks alright. So I'm giving it a 5, but maybe this will change later on. Barcelona is next, and it's just dull, alright? It's dull. 4. Okay, now Monaco. Now this is pretty controversial, alright? Everyone either loves Monaco or everyone hates Monaco. It's kind of just a parade around the street, or an entire country for that matter. Listen, qualifying is spectacular, and the spectacle of the thing is incredible. It's a boring race, it's more like an endurance race, I guess. Now, I might make a video about how Monaco could be improved, so if you have any ideas, leave a comment down below, I'd love to hear it. Now, what would I give Monaco out of 10? Now, this might be a bit controversial, but I'm giving it an 8. Why an 8? Well, it's Monaco. It's the spectacle. Yes, it's not the best race of the season, but it's iconic. It's been going for, like, 75 years. So yeah, Monaco, an 8 out of 10. So after Monaco, we have Baku. Now, what would I give this? I mean, it's a pretty enjoyable race and it's always entertaining. 2021 was a good race. We had a pretty unexpected podium with Pierre Gasly, Sebastian Vettel and Sergio Perez's second win. And of course we had the tyre blowouts with Lance Stroll and Max Verstappen on the straights, and Lewis Hamilton's brake magic, like not being turned off and him going straight. So yeah, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Pretty good race. Now before I carry on with the rest of the video, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing. It's free, only takes a few seconds, and you can always unsubscribe later if you want. My goal with this channel is to build the best F1 community there is, and if you want to help me do that, leave a like. Thanks. I also have a Discord server and Instagram, which are all linked down below, so please follow and join them. But yeah, thanks. Now we're on to Canada and Montreal. Oh, I love this track so much. I love the first sector and all the way to that first chicane, and how it almost turns into almost like a street circuit, then it opens right up. And of course, the Wall of Champions, or
the Champion of Wall.
It's just incredible. I love it so much. I love the atmosphere, the vibes, the scenery around it. Oh, it's great. So I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Yes, a 9 out of 10. So following on from Canada, we have Silverstone. What an amazing racetrack. So classic, and the drivers love it and so do the fans. from Cops through Maggots and Beckett's and finishing off at Chapel. That's an amazing part of the track, and it's just a pleasure to watch, isn't it? I mean, look at 2021. What an awesome first half of lap we had, with Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton going neck and neck through the corners and things, and then obviously ending in tragedy, but who cares? It was such a great opening to a Grand Prix. So what am I giving it? Some may say British bias, but it's 8 out of 10. It's pretty good. Now on to Austria. Now, the Red Bull Ring is pretty much just a massive go-kart track. I mean, I went to a karting track in Wales last year, and it was pretty much just Austria. And by the way, I dominated in that race, if you really want to know. But yeah, Austria is just great. But what would I rate it out of 10? It's a 9. It's so good. It's so simple, but effective. Now we have France. Last year, it was a good race, but it's just boring most of the time. And I hate the track layout and the colors. It's just too many lines and I hate it. So for me, it's a 3 out of 10. I hate France. Now, just before the summer break, we have Hungary on the Hungaroring. It's pretty average. I mean, it's pretty slow speed. Not much really happens. It's not terrible, and it's not really great, is it? I mean, 2021 was interesting to say the least, but still, that was just, I think, an exception. So it was just okay. Right, so I'm giving it bang average 5 out of 10. Now, after the summer break, we'll be going to Spa. Now, if you want to know something about me, Spa is my absolute favourite. I love the setting, I love the atmosphere, it's great. We have Eau Rouge and Radion, which always creates drama. I just hope that next year, or this year now, isn't it, that they get the safety right, because obviously we have some pretty bad crashes there the past couple of years, with, of course, Antonio Baer losing his life there in 2019. We had the W Series crash, which was horrible. I mean, Lando Norris, I think, was bruising or fracturing or something with his arm in 2021, which was not great. But the Kemmel Straight after Eau Rouge and Radion stuff is just perfection. So if you can't guess, it's a 10 out of 10 from me. Spa is an absolute 10 out of 10. So next up we have Zandvoort. And is it Zandvoort? Zandvoort? If you watch my videos, you know I'm terrible at pronunciation, but oh well. I think this was bumped up a couple points due to the Orange Army and the Dutch in 2021. I know they weren't allowed to bring orange flares in, but the second Max Verstappen won that Grand Prix, boom, there was orange everywhere. I mean, if I want to go to one Grand Prix, I probably want to go to Zandvoort because of the atmosphere there. The Dutch look absolutely insane. But the race itself in 2021 was pretty boring, pretty average, I'd say. Not too much happened, but hopefully with the new regulations, this track should be a bit better. But I just love the banking and stuff. Imagine someone sending it around the outside, turn 3. So what would I rate Zandvoort out of 10? I think it has to be a 7. You know, it's a pretty good racetrack, and the Orange Army just brings it up so much. I'd love to be there one day. Now we have Monza. The most recent 3 races at Monza have been absolutely insane. We have 2021 with Daniel Ricciardo winning for McLaren, his first win since he left Red Bull. 2020 we had Gasly on the peak of his redemption after he got kicked out from Red Bull. And of course 2019 with his historic second win for Ferrari. So now, yes, this is pretty much just straights and a few chicanes, but it always creates an amazing race, doesn't it? So what would I give it out of 10? I'm giving it a 9. That Daniel Ricciardo bias. Sochi. Well, Mercedes have dominated this since 1913 or something crazy like that. The races we've always had here are pretty boring, except for this year's because of the weather. I guess weather can make any track relatively interesting. Maybe I rate this track so badly because I'm a Lando fan, but who knows. So what am I giving it? A 3 out of 10. I don't like it at all. I mean, 2021 did leave a bitter taste in my mouth, but... Now after Sochi, we have Singapore. Now this is kind of like Monaco, but obviously a lot quicker. It's kind of like the world's hardest endurance race due to the humidity and how hot and physically demanding the race is. But the racing ain't too great, but it's alright. But like I said, it's physically demanding, which means the drivers have to work hard and sometimes mistakes are made, which can sometimes lead to safety cars and crashes, which they make life interesting, don't they? So what do I give it out of 10? Probably a 6. You know, it's good, but it's not great. It's better than average, but nothing special. Now we're on to Japan. Suzuka. For me, it's a bit overrated, I can't lie. Now, I know people adore this track, but for me, it's good, but nothing amazing. Yes, it has some interesting elevation changes with the bridge and things, but for me, it's just alright. So out of 10, I'm probably gonna give it a 6, a high 6, maybe a 7, but probably just a 6 for me. Austin, Texas is next, or COTA, the Circuit of the Americas. Now apparently the atmosphere here is amazing. I'd love to go there one day and just, party all weekend. They have like 500,000 people turn up over the weekend in 2021, which is insane. So it kind of looks like they took all the best parts of all the good racetracks and kind of blended them together to create this track. I love the run up to turn 1 up the hill. It's great, and then a long sweeping right-hander. It's insane. So out of 10, I'm giving it an 8. Now onto Mexico. Now the standout part of the track for me has to be that stadium section. I mean, the fan interaction must be insane. It's a spectacle to watch, to see the fans so close to the cars. I know it's a bit of a slow corner, but still, it's pretty cool. You don't get anything else like it anywhere. I mean, maybe the entirety of Monaco is kind of like it, but we're not really counting that. I mean, turns 1, 2, and 3 are okay, but then the corner kind of closes down by turn 4 and 5, which isn't too nice, but it's all right, I guess. It's kind of middle of the pack again, so I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. Now we're moving on to Brazil. Interlagos always creates an amazing race, especially in 2021, with Lewis Hamilton's 10 out of 10. If you don't think Interlagos is a 10 out of 10, unsubscribe from my channel. It's just so good, isn't it? Now onto the final race, Abu Dhabi. Now this year it's going to be a little bit earlier than usual due to the Football World Cup, which is happening there. So I think it's in November time. So yeah, let's go on to the track rather than football. So before the 2021 season, I probably would have given this a 4 or maybe a 5 at a push. But now that they've made a few changes and they actually listened and improved it quite a bit, I think when the 2022 cars get on this track, this race could be great. I love how the pit lane takes you onto the track and through that little tunnel thing, and it's just pretty cool, So would I give it probably a high 6, low 7, so let's just say 7. I'd give it a 7 out of 10 for Abu Dhabi. So my final rankings are France, followed by Sochi, then Barcelona, Imola, and Miami. Then it's Mexico, Hungary, Japan, and Singapore. Then it's Australia, Abu Dhabi, and Zandvoort. Then we have Baku, Bahrain. Then it's Saudi Arabia, Monaco, and Silverstone. And the top 5 are Monza, Austria, and Canada. And finally, my top 2 favourite tracks are Brazil and Spa, who take the top spot. So what are your top 3 favourite tracks? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. So anyway, I'd like to thank you for watching. I've been Connor, and I'll see you later. Bye.
Sway.